Scala ba 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 ba. Ba la ba ba. Ba la ba ba. I'm a mover, a shaker like Mac the knife. I can take your last dollar with the throw of the dice. I got a gift for women from heaven above, but I'm just a baby in the business.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Adriane Venus here from the beautiful island of Bali. Welcome to Adriane Venus Global Love Coach Academy. We present ourselves as a soul-centered space where love, purpose, and leadership unite, a doorway to deep purpose and the transformational power of love. I want to introduce myself. I'm Adriane Venus, known as Adriane Hartigan von Strauch, New Zealand's love coach, love visionary, international Mars Venus coach. I'm a love documentary filmmaker and very well known in the relationship healing realm internationally, coming from a deeply spiritual angle in my work, having worked as oneness trainer and as healer for many, many years. I have also background in international arts and film. And as you say, I'm a filmmaker, but I have done a lot of film editing in my life. And as award-winning documentary film editor, I really understand moving pictures and bringing a story together very, very well. And this here is a little bit my story I want to share today with a new vision I hold and an invitation for you to participate if that is something you choose to do so. My life work is really love in all forms, from heartbreak to healing. I myself can tell incredibly deep and transformational stories of my love life, starting going into intimate relationships in the age of 15. I count now probably, good 40 to 45 years in intimate relationships, but also on parallel to that on my spiritual personal development journey. So I can really understand human mind, human heart, and also, human intuition and intention very, very well. Around 6 months ago, I had a breakthrough. I just decided to get into a project that seemed really large and almost unattainable. And with lots of inner researching of my own intentions and also the external research to how this could happen, I decided to build and create what's called the Global Love Coach Academy. And I wanted to create a really different angle to love coaching in the world from a perspective of bringing healing and spiritual aspects of relationship healing together with traditional and academic coaching. I'm trained with Mars Venus in several categories as an executive and business coach, as a life coach, and foremost as a love and relationship coach through my also very, heart-centered and strong relationship to Dr. John Gray. I had the privilege to meet personally last year in Bali on my invitation to a conference that I co-created for all international coaches to come into Indonesia to meet John Gray. And also we had the opportunity to really speak lots on Zoom, recording beautiful interviews, which you can see if you actually listen to this recording on my YouTube channel. You should see in the previous list of my videos, numerous interviews with John and sub-videos I created for my channels. I want to create a trainings institute that brings conscious men and women together to become professional love coaches from a really heart-centered and soul-aligned educational point of view. And it's not just a coaching training. I want to really create a sacred movement of love leaders, creating heart-based change across the world. It's absolutely time that we admit that even the typical, very loud, communicated dating and love relationship coaching that's often offered is very, very, structured in a way that is very lighthearted and certainly very educational, but often not suits the individual who has or is still going through deep karmic and transformational change in their life. And we all share an individual story, and that is really what this is all about. And what makes my Global Love Coach Academy so unique is the transformational pathway to your higher power and purpose. That's what I want to really transmit in this vision: planning, retreat-based training, soul work, coaching skills, and feminine, masculine wisdom. And you being asked to train your heart and mind to sync and to harmonize, so that the integrating the coach and the healer can be served in integrity and with depth and grace. The mission behind this is really, number one, a personal one, to which I come a little later, but certainly a global one. Why does the world needs more love coaches? I did a lot of research when I started, particularly in the years 2006 and 2007. I want to share my story. I had just entered a new relationship. I wanted to be absolutely available for this relationship to grow. What I tried to share really is this wonderful experience of seeking to know more about love coaching and relationship healing. And I was obsessed about it. In the year 2006, I would have done everything and anything to find a school or a trainings institute I'm destined to create now, so many years later. And what it really was at the time was an awareness that, our previous generations, our parents, grandparents, had a very particular way of presenting themselves to their partners and to the whole, area of marriage and life partnership, which didn't make sense anymore. Yeah, so the whole story has changed. We have new values, we have new expectations. And more than anything, living between 3 continents, I tell you, the world is full of different cultural movements that release old ways of being married to new ways of finding love and building bridges culturally, emotionally, and more than anything, globally, in the sense that a lot of multicultural marriages are formed and different things are happening with children born into multicultural families, then again becoming lovers. And I can say this from my own, role as mother, having 4 children with partners from different cultures. So it is really very interesting to observe what happens to the next generation and to their values and to their outlook to relationship when we really, really allow this wonderful expansion to happen in us as parents and as still responsible lovers to our own relationships, really, really observe this with consciousness and clarity. Globally, relationships are in crisis and confusion, and collective healing begins with conscious connection to the karmic timeline we are journeying on together in humanity. So it's really a very interesting approach, that what is happening right now with a lot of different ideas to gender choices, to, it is gender intelligence has become a really big theme. That's what Mars Venus is ultimately conveying and teaching. But there's also this the variety of ways you live your love life like we never ever had in our previous generation. So for us as love coaches and those working with people who want to be in love and find love, it is certainly a much more exciting but also challenging time to really understand what is going on in the movement of human needs and behaviors. From personal pain to collective purpose, your story has prepared you. Every heartbreak you lived was part of your calling to help others heal, design, and manifest their love lives. And I say this very early in this call because this webinar, this masterclass, is really called The Business of Love, Your Inner Love Coach. And what I want to bring out is the awareness that somewhere in you, if you're actually interested to listen, might be, the silent calling for discovering yourself as somebody helping others in their love lives. If you work through your internal fires, you're meant to light the path for others to manifest happy relationships. So I think really the understanding is that you cannot teach and coach something, or people teach and coach through something you have not personally experienced. There's maybe an area where we have gray zones of cultural experiences or gender-related experience. We can, female coaches can coach male clients, and certainly the experience still will be very different for a male compared to a female, and vice versa. But there is another world that is really, really very common, very mutual, and very, very collectively experienced. A rising generation of love leaders, and what this is really all about. You're not alone. I hear from so many people, oh, I talk to my girlfriend, or my mother is my best support when things are going wrong in my love life, or I have this best friend I call up and she always helps me. And for us professional coaches, it's wonderful to hear that people have personal relationships around them that support their personal story. But in all honesty, sometimes this can backfire big times, because if you are not differentiating your personal relationships via a professional relationship to involve a coach into what you develop for yourself, then you might find that there is a lot of almost codependent or accountability to that person happening, and codependent ways of communication that are ultimately not serving you as a receiver of the support. So turning this into a different position, you being the observer and sitting in somebody's chair, coaching somebody who is in crisis or wants to have love coach support. Here we have the interesting observation that there is actually a real, almost like a school book of, ethics and rules to it we really, really wish to apply. And I talk more about ethics and how we can maintain them in this course of development, becoming a love coach. We're building a global community of coaches, mentors, and love visionary. That is really what it's all about. Myself and a team of very selected professionals between the USA, Europe, Bali, and Australia, New Zealand. So I wish to create in every area of the world, in every continent I just mentioned, a kind of a foundational faculty where people meet and have, their trainings. But then I will move to different continents over each calendar year to train in different areas of the world. The opportunity will be that you have the choice to do this locally or travel for coming on board, but I share also that a little later. So being a love coach is a sacred profession. I come back to the profession itself for a moment, that it's really not just about relationships, it's about humanity's evolution. We're taking part in a much, much greater evolutionary wave that is happening at the moment. And when we help people to fully love with inner truth and clarity, we are really shifting generations, and that carries a huge responsibility and demands knowledge and understanding about what we are actually helping people in. Discovering your inner love coach means really that you awaken this inner guide, that inner part in you, that inner voice in you that knows that already this is a very positive and enlightening thing to look outwardly and help others to be happier and healthier and more resourceful in their relationships and in all areas of their lives. You already carry some wisdom because you live your life. So any story you live in your life is the preparation. And now it's time to bring this forward. Your vulnerability, your empathy, and ultimately your self-love are really the three areas that you want to check in on. So if you ask me, what are the 3 key characters that you want to discover in you, or qualities you want to discover in you, then check in how willing you are to be vulnerable with your very own self and your own story, and also the willingness to be vulnerable around others, being open to share with you. Vulnerability is really allowing pain to come through and then being observant and letting it happen till the pain dissolves. There are techniques, there are tools to make it happen, to do this easy and much less, painful. But there's also the willingness to be honest. That's something, even when we are coaches and developed in our own profession, still lingers in us wanting to be healed. Empathy is a very big word, because I think in the last 10 to 15 years, when I started to coach professionally, this differentiation, oh, you're an empath. And when you were an empath, you almost were too close to somebody's story. And that's how I feel it's not so much anymore. I think a lot of empaths who discovered that they were overgiving and oversharing have learned to set boundaries and be much, much more conscious in their very own way of relating to the ability to be empathic with others. So empathy is actually an incredible, important and powerful quality within ourselves, as long as we understand that it has to be within our boundaries and the boundaries of other people showing to us or shown to us, so that we really, particularly from a professional serving point, understand our role. And self-love is a very important given, and I mention it as a third part because the raising and the level of ability to self-love is growing with every situation and every more and more expansion in our living world day by day. I think if you really take our job for real, then we need to be very discerning and loving with ourselves. And self-love on a very healthy, not egoic level is very, very powerful and important. And what's really important to say here is the last line: you don't become a love coach. You remember that you're already a healer of love, so facing your own inner transformation. The becoming is not the role. The becoming is within the energy, and you will learn that when I present my offer to you a little later in this masterclass. Now I want to introduce you to the 5 signs you're meant to be a love coach. The first one is you are the steady voice in emotional storms for others. So people turn to you with their deepest relationship questions and they trust your heart. As I mentioned before, we often have that role in people's life to be the one being called or asked or consulted in particular relationship related situations. And the more we actually are able to make it not about our experience and about us, but about the person, and being able to step back and allowing this person, through our involvement, to have an independent, decision-making process, how to go about it. That's ultimately what it is. As coaches, we are not telling what to do. We are suggesting, we are offering, and we are maybe reflecting through stories, but ultimately the choice is through the person's inner evolution to come to a place to know what's right and absolutely valid for him or herself. The second sign is you feel deeply and sense what others often miss. So your emotional intuition is a gift and a guide to the world around you. I think that brings me back a little bit to the empathy and to the feeling deep I mentioned before. So being empathetic is really, really important. So if you sense in you this really deep desire to help the world to be a better place. And not just through love relationships, but family relationships and friendships, and in business. A lot of relationship coaching is necessary. I do a lot of business and business relationship coaching over the last, particularly in Bali, over the last 6 years, much more than actually couples relationship coaching in Indonesia. Online, I help individuals and couples more, but certainly here in the framework of what I do in Indonesia is much more focused on professional relationships. And they're equally, vulnerable. They're equally important because you deal with human beings, particularly when money is involved, in intimate relationships, sex is involved, in business relationships, money is involved, and money and sex are very powerful drivers to make people tick. So take this into account when you reflect on these signs to whether you actually meant to be a love coach. Your emotional intuition is a gift and a guide to the world around you. And I really want to emphasize that. Allow this to be seen, because it is valuable and certainly a calling in a very personal and very, very unique way. The third one is, you still believe in love. I think the believing in love is something that is absolutely foundation. You cannot be a love coach without not understanding love for what it really is. If you can't be an over romantic, an over communicator in what it is that relationships can do and how they can work from a very, very heart-centered and loving connection, then you might want to, question whether there's still something lingering in you where you have to do some healing, or really the belief in love, even if you had heartbreaks and you are grown up in an environment where not much emotional love was channeled to you as a child or as an adolescent, but you want to understand, you have to believe in love being a frequency that keeps the world alive. I believe it's the most important frequency of all, and many, many spiritual leaders will certainly share and confirm that. Even after heartbreak, love is sacred. The word sacredness is incredibly empowering and very important in my practice. When I practice, sacredness is number one. That's why I love Bali again so much, because Bali offers, as an external environment, so many beautiful niches, corners, houses, villas, retreat centers, and unique nature places and temples to treat love and our own birthing to love and be loved in deep sacredness. So it's about protecting love. It's about protecting this frequency as something that wants to survive and be understood by humanity as a core quality for us internally to move forward individually and together as one species. The fourth one is, you have been through powerful inner healing. You have done the work, and now you want to serve others on their inner and outer love life journey. So what really is coming through here, that some of you have done more work, others have done less work. Wherever you are in the evolution of your own inner process, I think it is very important to understand, as I said before, that there is work needed to heal, to become that partner, that lover, and also that coach that is capable of others to be, trusting and in resonance with what you can offer as a living being to their lives. So it is really a quite high responsibility to be a love coach. I personally find the integrity that's necessary to allow others to step forwards and sharing their own individual story, for us to not judge, to not get into a kind of unifying, generalizing, mode, but to be very, very present and to be very much available to let them have every single step along their way experience so that they can create their own healing journey and a story around that, which ultimately leads to that knowledge, to that wisdom that prepares you to become a love coach. So number 5 is you long to help yourself, your partner, and others grow in love. And here I want to really come back to my personal story. I want to deepen that, what I said before in 2006 and in 2007. I was obsessed. I was so passionate about learning about relationships that I made it a number 1 key feature of my daily existence. I was privileged. I was in this new relationship and I was given the opportunity to really focus on our domestic and our personal, private, intimate evolution. So for 2 or 3 years, I was a coach and I would practice, but I would keep it very, very low key because I was doing healing and not so much relationship, but physical healing work. And also I did work in film and art. So I had the privilege to step back and focus on family and this relationship. And while this all was happening, I would listen and listen and read and find very clearly my way till I edged to a very interesting niche, the whole sacred sexuality community. As having been the founder of the Holistic Business Network in New Zealand, I was very privileged. At that time, I would invite great speakers. One of them is still my very long-standing friend and mentor, Dr. Bruce Lipton. So I would have numerous amazing speakers coming to New Zealand and bring them on stages in my own, professional networking environment. And in all this, I was, asked to support and help and organize and create events. And here it happened that I was by a group of sacred sexual healers approached to become involved. And I looked into the whole process very deeply and made after a very, defined point of time, the decision that sacred sexual healing was not my avenue within love and relationship coaching or healing. So this decision actually led to the decision wanting to become a coach. Before I thought I could hang out in the healing field and do more of the spiritual, energetic work. Now suddenly I realized, no, I don't want to be in that energetic space too much. I want to know about it. I want to understand it very much so, but I want to be a great communicator. And more than anything, I want to be a visionary. I want to bring people's internal ability into motion to create and design a love life they absolutely desired, like I aim to do in this phase of my life. So for me, this has been always number 1 in my evolution, to really, really look for these signs that tell you, here you're on the right path. And suddenly you realize, oh, I need to make an adjustment or decision. And I'm really lucky that over the last 15 years, I was given 2 or 3 major crossroads as decision-making points. And I believe that in each one of them, I made the right decision. And next one certainly was joining John Gray and Mars Venus Coaching International. And now it's, since last year, building the Global Love Coach Academy, not just being a coach, but becoming a conductor and a visionary to help new coaches being trained through a group of amazing, skillful people all over the world. So I think this is something that you want to look into, where are you actually most receptive? Where are you really feeling the most comfortable? Is it more the physical, energetic work? Is it more the emotional, communicational work? Or is it the spiritual, visionary work you want to do in the field of love and relationship coaching? And I tell you that my vision is to help everyone along the way to become a really great love coach, whatever niche you ultimately find for yourself. So love transforms, and you will feel called to share that truth in upgrading your inner and outer development of intimate, intelligent relating consistently. And that means you obsessed. If you see something that doesn't seem right for you in relation to something in your own relationship, maybe with your partner or with someone you date or your family, you want to adjust it and you want to learn how to do it better and to heal it. For me, in my inner world, there is not one human relationship on the entire planet that cannot be healed. I believe every relationship is destined to have a way to be healed. And particularly when it's, intimate and family relationships, we can't decide on different, bigger scales of people in business or in world leaders or whatever. That is something that is a higher realm we can pray into and put a lot of positivity towards. But I would like to say that our inner job is to make sure that we don't hold any crutches with anyone ever in our lives. And if we decide to distance ourselves from somebody for the purpose of holding boundaries, then that's healthy. But it's not about staying in disharmony and disconnect. So that's something that is very important when you work as a love coach, that you really understand that and help people to heal their relationships, even if there might be huge resistance to do that. There's a call to serve. Your desire to help others is sacred. Your understanding, intuition, insight are humanitarian gifts the world needs now. We're in 2025, astrologically, energetically, evolutionary. We will probably go through another 2 years of really intense transformation. And let's trust, the higher calling that it will be much easier and much more integrated and harmonious in the next few years. So let's utilize this inner healing for ourselves to help the world to heal as a whole. You're meant to hold space for transformation and safe connections between the feminine and masculine collective. I'm a big believer that the divine feminine and the divine masculine have a real important job, that on a quantum level, on a quantum, how can I say, quantum evolutionary level, we are very responsible to help each other and to hold a particular frequency for everybody else to heal. Healing through heart-centered service. Coaching is a path of love and liberation. As you support others, you continue to evolve. The more we serve, the more we grow. It's really a service profession more than anything else. There's a lot of ways of doing love coaching very, actively and creatively, but ultimately we are in service to humanity. And yet there's a two-way blessing to it. Your love for love itself and how it changes people must be your fundamental truth and a non-negotiable value. You need to love first, love itself. That's the two-way blessing to really be a great love coach. And that is something you develop with time and experience. Believing in love, even when people who are unhappy about the results of what your coaching journey has brought to them, you still need to hold your breath and pray that you did the absolute best in your integrity as a support person, as a servant to their own human journey, to their own human evolution. So this is something that is often misunderstood, to an extent even that business coaches say to me, "Oh, just call somebody up and tell them that you are a love coach and you can help them." I never call anybody up to say, "Can I help you?" Only if I'm asked. And if through a conversation, my story is interesting to somebody, then I can make a connection professionally. But I never, ever would say, "Hey, I can help you as a love coach." But what I do today is invoking in you the desire to help others from a place of being part of a much bigger, of a much more holistic and collective position in the world. A profession with soul. It's really about soul healing and about soul paths, transform lives, and recreate your career path. So when you go on the soul path of actually choosing relationships and love as something that is number one in your life, you will shift a lot of values. I tell you, it changed my life massively. Coaching offers freedom, fulfillment, financial alignment, and deep meaning and purpose. This work changes lives, and it can enlighten your own through walking your talk with upholding the vibration of love. Clients really need you. Lovers in transit want a love coach who has walked the path of healing and holds space with unconditional love and emotional intimacy. They want connection with you and not perfection. That's really important. You have to have an ability to connect with people. And that usually starts with a genuine interest in them as a person. I have recorded a beautiful masterclass a couple of years ago called Intimate Intelligence. I still believe that the 4 or 5 steps to intimate intelligence are foundation for any relationship to flourish. And number one is you have to be interested in the person, even if they're not your friend, and even if there is a simple professional exchange of value and monetary value. But it is important that you can connect to what they really need and seek help about, and also that you're willing to see them for who they truly are. Your past experience and deepening understanding about relationships makes you powerful. So you have to be very real, and you have to be you, authentic, clear, and very shameless. It's just very simple. You need to be willing to show yourself and not expect to be always appreciated and loved for it. And I say this in a very, very charming and lighthearted way because, you know, sometimes situations appear that we can't control as coaches, and then we still need to smile and help someone through whatever has been happening in the background of the story. Confidence comes from commitment. Say yes, yes to your becoming. The first yes is to yourself, the second to God and to your higher self. You grow your skill by walking the path, not waiting to feel emotionally ready. And you don't need to have it all figured out. You need to continue to heal your very own love story and your own love life to becoming love. You have to become transcendent and ready and willing to be 100% available for this process. Your inner love coach is ready. Your time to step forward is now. And you have been prepared for this moment, trust it, own it. This is our invitation to you to rise, lead, and love with purpose and true commitment to help changing the world, one relationship at a time. That's how John Gray always says. That is what his work is about, changing the world one relationship at a time. Now I want to introduce you to my professional training that will start later in the year. We are not yet actively training coaches. We're in preparation between Europe, New Zealand, Australia, and Bali. So there's a lot of planning and communication and creating happening behind the scenes. But we do focus on 3 modules, 4 immersive retreats. These are residential retreats, most of them, except 1 or 2 modules that can be done online. But I would prefer that every student and every trainee is willing to make the effort to travel and to be 1 week at a time in a very, very deeply immersed environment. Residentially, either in the central area of Europe, in Bali or in next year in New Zealand. So it's one certified path, and we want to start late August 2025. It's an elite training for the next generation of love coaches, offered as residential retreats and online mentoring, integrating the 8 core competencies and code of ethics, of the International Coaching Federation, to say that one of our key members supporting me in this vision and transformation to create this academy is an active board member of the ICF in Europe. So I will not say any countries or name right now. We will all reveal that in the next 6 to 8 weeks, and we'll present ourselves to you as team. We combine real-world practice with soul-aligned learning. This is where mastery begins. So the first module, first part of this training is training retreats number 1 and 2 in person and or online. You learn how to coach energetically and practically in any setting, clients from all backgrounds and cultures. So this is about foundation, about fundamentals, a lot of tools that you will need communicationally and practically to become a coach. Coaching is sacred space holding. It begins with you learn from internationally acclaimed love coaches. Module 2, the second part, is the accreditation level. This is training retreats 3 and 4, and they have to be in person. Learn tools to support clients refining love, heartbreak, conflict, healing, starting over, and deepening intimacy. You learn how to meet clients where they are at. Also, you will utilize your own healing background and your other professional backgrounds in maybe psychology, holistic healing, counseling, potentially spiritual healing, or other creative gifts like art and music therapy. So I am very excited to see different, media to come together and create a collective, beautiful group of new love coaches, bringing new elements of love support into the world. And you guide them to deeper connection and the fulfillment of their love life design. So it's really about utilizing deeper and more creative skills. And ultimately, you will actually attend as a trainee active couples retreat, and you will still at the end of your training have the opportunity to work with individuals and couples in a retreat setting so that you learn to do it hands-on. I want you to have practice in coaching people hands-on and not just getting it theoretically and then be thrown out in the world of coaching and calling yourself a coach and have not had ever the opportunity to get feedback or supervision or mentoring through other experienced coaches behind you, all right? And the third level is the master coach level, which is a mentorship program in person and online. Again, that can happen as needed and decided by the individuals. It gets the next level up. It teaches you much more self-worth, boundaries, feminine, masculine balance, and conscious dating, mating to others in seminar and retreat settings. I think that will be the part where you become confident and presenting your work, not just in a one-to-one coaching environment, but also create your own retreats in different areas of the world. So I want to see the Global Love Coach Academy having different faculties over the globe over the next 3 to 5 years. And also love coaching is really, to be mentioned, identity coaching. So identity, how you shape it and who you become, is really important. It will create shifts in you and others, and you will help to shape a new self in becoming a teacher of love. Being part of a greater love journey and love story is just very exciting and a very wonderful thing to experience. So what makes our retreats really unique is that we work over, as I mentioned, 3 continents: Europe, Bali, and New Zealand, potentially Australia included. Soul-rich, intimate, and gender intelligent contact and flexible pace of study. So if you want to be present in all these residential retreats, but your travel schedule, is a little bit more spread out over a longer period of time, that's fine. So we will make sure that we offer different versions of involve yourself in your training and to be present, particularly the middle part, the retreat 3 and 4. I absolutely want to make sure that we meet in one place in the world that keeps us strong together and creates the shift and the transformation for all of us, not just in collectively, but also individually in learning and moving forward in our skill levels and in our internal readiness to enlighten and accelerate this work together. There's a lot of beautiful conversation happening in international groups of coaches, how coaching can be made more accessible, more better understood, and not so, make it so, coaching is not an elite type thing in the sense that it is only for people who have the money to pay for coaching. I think coaching can be made accessible in very creative ways to a much larger group of audience, and something that you learn with time to get more confident to tell your story and to be available to help bigger groups and communities to go out. So our trees are immersive, empowering, deeply healing. We don't just educate and train, we transform together in feminine resonance and polarity. And the day in a training environment is practice, embodiment, and celebration. So there's deep listening, communication techniques, coaching ethics, sessions, simulations, feedback circles, sacred rituals, particularly when we're on Bali, and joyful breakthroughs. And it's not just about the skills you apply, it's also who you become in the process of your qualification and accreditation process. Certification is one that I want to make very, very clearly an internationally certified coaching program. And I want others, to be supported as professionals and to be able to grow in their love-based business. You leave skillful, confident, and ready to serve the world of healing relationships powerfully after your professional training. And what it really is all about, and I think that brings it back to why a lot of spiritual and more energetic and healing practitioners feel very drawn to becoming love coaches like myself at a time. It's about applying your intuition for something higher, So the whisper within, that getting these little inner calls and this, voices and messages that have been, coming through. So if you feel drawn to this career path, trust it. It's not random, it's your soul calling. And we're here, and you are here because you're ready and the call is real. And the future you're creating, the world needs your light. So step into the initiation process. And there is a bridge we take from passion to purpose to prosperity. I think it's very important to understand it is a process. And before you are willing to actually coach others and learn how to coach others, you need to be coachable yourself. But understand you're here to do meaningful work in being coached first, and then start with the commitment to being a love coaching client before you actually do the professional training. All right. So the kickstart with me is, and this is my offer of this masterclass today, to become part of this beautiful Becoming Love program. It's kickstart with a 12-week journey of personal awakening and transformation, a heart-led coaching program to discover your inner love coach. And before you lead others, let's awake your alchemist within you. So I invite you to join my 3 months Becoming Love coaching program, which is a one-to-one program. So we will go through 3 months, 3 frequencies, and 1 becoming. This is a structure. Each month explores one transformational area: your love environment, your love emotions, and your path to love evolution. So environment, emotions, evolution, the 3 E's. Really important. You'll move through deep self-discovery and emerge more and more in alignment, clarity, and confidence. So this is the flyer. It's to find on my website. We can send it to you. My assistant Joy is here to start putting the links into the chat box. If you see this presentation on replay on YouTube or any other platform, then you will have a description text below where all the links are to find. To get on my website, there's a sub page with a landing page which gives you all the details about this program, also about the foundational information of the Love Academy. What you will experience is personal coaching one-to-one with me, weekly calls over 12 weeks, higher wisdom and ritual activation. I want you to really get very, very confident in doing daily inner practices and work for yourself, inner realizations, meditations, and create an outer preparation and coaching support given to you. So this is really about your external environment reflected through your inner readiness will change because you adjust your environment to make it ready for the process of becoming a love coach, but also to reflect love in your total environment. The second is that you will later on, just go through healing your own relationship in the sense that if you're single, you go back where there is still something to look at. And if you are in a relationship, we will get very clear about the key aspects you want to focus on in your own relationship while you begin to study and train to become a love coach over the months to come. And evolutionary is really about creating a vision. How will this look like? What is really happening in my life so that I can make this a fulfilled path and something that is real and tangible. And, this last phase in particular is the end phase just before you start your training. And when the training starts, it's very hands-on and very, very, a lot of, experiential, tasks you want to go through, but also tools you be given to help you along the way in form of texts, books, forms that you can utilize to use for your own clients and so on. So the journey will awaken what's been waiting inside you all along, and that's really what it's about. It's about real transformation, real preparation, and I have to say this is an absolute prerequisite for being accepted as a trainee into the Global Love Coach Academy wherever in the world. All right, so coaching for 3 months with me and potentially one of our co-coaches is absolute foundation for starting the process with us, because I don't want the experience that you start training and then realize that the type of quality of personal information and interaction with me and those being actively part of the faculty is becoming something that is not your style, or you're not feeling, it's not relatable. So I want you to relate to the style and to the type of work I transmit into the world. And if you resonate with it, absolutely, then the change will happen already in the 90 days before you start your actual training. This is the flyer, for becoming love, transform your story, awaken your wisdom, and step into your soul vocation. As a love coach, you were never broken, only being prepared to guide others, finding home to love. It's an $1,111 investment. This is a special offer. The usual price is $1,250 for US for 3 months. So this offer of the 1111 will stay till the 31st of May, another 10 days after this masterclass today. And the sooner you start, the quicker you will be prepared. And we will be prepared taking the first group into our international professional trainings. So there will be more information coming soon. Your commitment is sacred. Your time investment is the first yes to your destiny. So really making time 1 hour a week with me and doing some external and internal preparation work for the next 12 weeks is what is your commitment. Here are the links. You can see them now down in the chat. If you are not live, then this will be down in the description box. And that's when you go actually on my website, thelovecoach.co.nz becoming love link. You see this as last page. So there is on the very bottom of the landing page a button that leads you to my discovery call calendar. So you can just book your time to meet me one-to-one. And there are 2 more links and buttons. One is paying your special rate in full, $1,111 US, or joining me in paying by a 3 months payment plan. And that's all available on my landing page on the website. So you see it all there. I will not screen into this right now. You have all the information on the 10 pages of this landing page. So you're the one the world of love has been waiting for. Let's walk this path together. I'm really excited about meeting all of you who feel a calling to have a first conversation with me. If you not want to enroll now immediately, please book the call, have a deeply personal conversation. I decided not to do a Q&A for this masterclass for various reasons, because I think we have all different aspects of inquiries coming into these events, and I want to talk to you personally. I want to meet you, and I want to find out what your calling and your inner search and seeking is right now, where you're at in your life. So your legacy begins the moment you choose to be love and become love. So my final blessing from Bali to you, we were born for this. Let's change the world of relationships together. Trust your heart, lead with love. The world is waiting for all of us love coaches to be visible and evolutionary influential. The last and most important part of intimate intelligence is influence. We want to influence others. We have to become transparent in being a good influence, a positive and a loving and a heart-based and heart-centered influence to the world. Thank you from my heart. And thank you for taking part in this masterclass, for being open and for saying yes to love. We honor you for taking part in your sacred inner, we are honored to take part in your sacred inner and outer career journey. And yes, we honor you for absolute showing up today and also listening on YouTube or any other Spotify or podcast channel. We will bring this presentation into the world. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And I greet you from Bali with all my heart. We will see each other again. Namaste. Thank you.